Welcome back to my channel, guys. And if you're new here, it's your finance girly Amina. And today I just wanted to do a quick, practical, and simple video. And today I'm just going to walk you through actually creating a budget for yourself, because I know there's a lot of people that hear the word budget, but they struggle to actually put a budget in place, create it, and start to actually implement it and use it. So I'm literally just gonna talk a bit about the things that I usually talk about when I'm doing workshops or one-to-one sessions. So if you are interested, make sure you go and book yourself one, because it will really help you, especially ahead of the new year. So number one, for you to create a budget, you have to ensure that you know how much you're earning. It sounds very stupid, it sounds very simple, but it's very important. This includes your variable income and your non-variable income. So the income that changes, your variable income is the income that changes. So this may be any money that you have from a side hustle, or any money that you get but not on a consistent basis. But your non-variable income, aka your fixed income, will be like your salary job, the amount that you get paid every single month. And you have to ensure that you work out these amounts so that you can create a rough estimate of how much you are actually getting every single month. Once you know your income, that gives you space to know what you're working with. And then the next very important thing that you're going to want to do is you are going to want to actually work out what are your expenses. And when I say expenses, I'm not saying the things that you want, like, maybe going and get takeaway. I mean your essential expenses. What must you pay every single month? What are your subscriptions? What are your bills? And interestingly, when you start to look at your subscriptions, you'll probably notice that there's a lot of things that you're actually paying for that you don't even need to pay for. So this is actually a very good way to audit your finances too, and see what are you actually paying for. So yeah, make sure you go in. It can be as simple as literally looking on your banking app, or if you don't have a banking app, looking through your bank statements and seeing, okay, every single month, what is it that I pay? So this may be bills, this may be rent, this may be your petrol, your transport if you go to work. Adding all these things together and actually finding out what is the overall amount that you actually spend. And then next, we are going to get into the fun part of things, actually deciding how do you want to budget. There's so many different ways that you can budget. Some of the common ways to actually budget and implement the budget is to go with the envelope method, which is where once you decide the percentages of how much you're going to put aside for everything, deciding, okay, how much do I want to have for my wants? How much do I want to have for my needs? And put it into actual envelopes. So usually this is like a cash method. So put in this amount into envelopes, but you can actually use digital pots on your banking accounts, and this can help too. I actually use digital pots, but I'm going to get into my method later on in this video. So yeah, put in the cash in those envelopes, and when you need to use it for each category, taking it out. And this is a really good way to try and reduce your spending. Another way that you can budget is percentage based budgeting. And this is something that I actually use and that I use with my clients too, my coaching clients. I will usually help them create a budget, and I'll create a percentage based budget on Excel or Google Sheets. It doesn't matter, whatever you prefer. And this is where you just work out a percentage that you want to set aside for each category. But the most common method, and the method that I'm actually going to recommend that you use, obviously, this is not financial advice, but I think it's a good way to start, is the 50-30-20 rule. And this is where you set aside 50% of your income to your needs. So this will just be, to work it out, you'll just do 0.5 times by your overall income, which is what we spoke about. So your variable and your fixed together, that will give you your 50%, and that will be your needs as we discussed, which is, bills, everything like that. And then the 30% will be your wants. So this is anything that you actually want. So this could be takeaway, this could be going out, this could be getting your hair done, this could be whatever you want it to be, buying presents for other people, whatever. You can literally decide what you want that to be. And then the 20% is your savings. So setting aside 20% of your income for your savings, so that you ensure that you're building up your savings. And you can even take it further and split it up. Maybe have 10% for your general savings, 10% for your emergency fund. And your emergency fund is just 3 to 6 months worth of your living expenses that you have set aside for an emergency. But these are the different methods, some of the different methods. There's so many different methods out there, but these are usually the ones that I will mention. And one thing that I usually do actually is, I personally I kind of mix two of the methods. So what I do is I do persuasive budgeting, and I also kind of use the 50/30/20 rule a bit. I kind of use it, but it's different because I've remixed the percentages a bit. The most is actually at the moment my bills and everything like that. I believe in God that it won't have to be that way. But in the future, I do want to have a larger percentage for, savings or investing. But at the moment, what works for me is having a bigger percentage for my needs. But I break it down a lot further. So not only do I have savings, but I've got investing too. I also have charity because I am a believer. So I think, charity is so important. And this includes even giving money to church for various different things, whatever it may be for you. But one thing I also do as well. So once I've created the percentages in Excel, I now implement it by using my Monzo pots. And God bless whoever created the Monzo pots, because it's been helping me so much. This Monzo pots thing, it helps me to stick to budget. So what I do is, once I input my overall income, because I am self-employed, so it can go up and down, I will then take that amount from each category, and I will put that amount in my Monzo pots. Let's say the amount for charity is £50. I will put that in my Monzo pot, and when I want to take it out, I will take it from that pot, so that my money is not just in my bank account, but it's actually separated into the budget. And that's how I implement my budget, using a bit of the different methods. And that's just what I like to do. But there's many different ways that you can budget, and what I always say is, it's just about finding the way that actually works for you, and the way that you can stick to, because that's important. When you have a budget, you have to ensure that you actually stick to it. So yeah, if you found this video helpful and you want to find out more about personal finance, I am your girl, and you can always subscribe to my channel. I'm so happy to have you here. Honestly, please do subscribe. Please comment down below anything that you learn or anything you're unsure about, and I'm going to be going through the comments. I love to see comments. They make me so happy. So I will see you in the next video.